UFC 326 Holloway vs. Oliveira 2 is this weekend. I'll be breaking down every fight and giving you the best bets for each fight. Luke Fernandez, Rodolfo Belalto. Fernandez is making his UFC debut. He is coming off a Dana White Contender Series win. He is going to have to look for the takedown in this fight. He does have solid striking, but when his power doesn't work, he is going to go for the takedown. He does have good subs. He has some pretty solid striking, but needs a little bit of work. He's almost there, but in this case against Belalto, I do think he has a very good chance. Belalto hasn't looked good at all recently. He is coming off a pretty lackluster win against Sterling, where Sterling was supposed to be this hyped up kickboxing prospect, but just hasn't looked. He's supposed to be getting finishes. He was supposed to finish Belalto, but Belalto stayed in there, used his toughness, and just walked him down the whole time, being a punching bag pretty much. He does like to use looping punches, aka like hooks. He loves the looping punches, hooks. It's very weird style from him. He could use his toughness way better, but overall he just uses it as pretty much to be a punching bag. He gets outstruck 3-1 most of the time. I just don't think he has what it takes to be in the UFC, at least right now. I do think he needs to learn a lot more, at least striking-wise. I don't think he will win this fight. He does have a good chance by decision, but I think Fernandez will go out there and probably get a sub. We got Lee, we got Gaston. Lee, he's a BJJ black belt apparently. I'm not sure how true that is, but I heard the commentary say that. He's a solid striker. He's very fast. He can be taken down easily, though. When he does get to the ground, he doesn't stay there for too long. He will get back up, but overall, I just don't think he can hang with wrestlers. In this fight, he has a good matchup against a kickboxer. Gaston, he is pretty much like Lee, but he's a little more technical. He does suck on the ground, and he does have some good BJJ. He's only beaten cans. He beat a guy who was 0-2 and then lost to him who was 0-3 and then got cut. He lost to another guy who I don't even think is in the UFC anymore. So both guys, just doesn't look good for him. He has only beaten cans. He beat a guy who was 0-2, then he beat him. The guy got cut at 0-3 in the UFC, and then he beat another guy who I don't even think he had a UFC win, which is not a good look for him at all. He's not really beating good competition, and he's losing to the better competition. So I'm going to go with Lee here. I just think he'll be better. I think he'll mix it up with a little bit of wrestling, maybe hold him against the fence a little bit, try to kill some clock, and overall just fight him. Rafael Tobias, Deer has a tick where he wipes his eye a lot. I do think, because he does want to strike, I do think it will be taken advantage of. Wasn't taken advantage of last fight, which I did predict it was going to be, but I do think he might get caught off guard with it when he goes to wipe his eye, give him a right cross to the chin. He's mess striking. He has good power, though. He can KO you if he gets a lucky shot, but pretty much he is a can. Tobias, he's coming off a big Dana White Contender Series win. He's patient. He has good KO power. Overall, he's a pretty good prospect. I don't think he'll make it too far in the UFC, but he has a good pressure style. He wants to counter, and overall, he is going to look for those takedowns. I do think Tobias will probably get a sub, but also at the same time, I do think he might try to test himself a little bit here and go for that KO early. I do think Tobias by KO is solid, but also at the same time by sub. If you double chance that for a betting perspective, that's a good, solid bet. But overall, if you pick Tobias, put him in a parlay, like a 2-leg or something like that, that's pretty solid odds. I do think it is very generous because Deer is horrible. I just don't think he's that good. I think he fumbled the ball in the UFC. He's just not that level, and I do think he does need to switch gyms. Maybe get some new corner or something, switch it up because he doesn't look like he's UFC level. Sumudarji, Jesus. Sumudarji, I don't understand why he's like a 2-1 or 3-1 favorite. He's a good striker. He has good takedown defense. Overall, he's pretty solid, but he's very technical. In my opinion, I think Jesus will be the better fighter here. He's a really good striker. He has good wrestling. He has nasty leg kicks, which Sumudaji leaves his leg wide open. He doesn't really check kicks or anything. He got hit with some pretty good leg kicks in the last fight. So I think Jesus is going to limit Sumudaji's movement. And overall, probably out decision him. He's going to get those points in the rounds. Maybe edge him out in the first 1 or 2 rounds, but overall he's going to take over in the third. He's only lost 2 prospects. I forget the one prospect he lost to, but he did lose to Tatsu Taira. And overall, if you're losing to Tatsu, that's a good sign, at least progression-wise, because you're going to go back and look at the tape, see what you did wrong. It's a good loss. It only helps his career, at least now. I do believe he fought Esteban, who is another solid flyweight prospect. Doesn't fight too much, but overall, I think Jesus has faced a better competition, and I do think he is going to win this fight. I cannot go with a Sumudaji who has a win over Kevin Borges. Kevin Borges is absolutely horrible. I bet on Kevin Borges as an underdog, so I thought he was going to win last fight, but the way Borges fought was just very lackluster. No volume, not really throwing too much. And someone who's going to take advantage of that would be Jesus. Because Jesus, I think he will outstrike Sumudaji a little bit more. Because Sumudaji doesn't throw too much. But if he's getting backed down by Jesus is going to use his stance, keep him backing up, throw the leg kicks, and overall outpoint fight him. Cody Durden. I don't even know how to say this guy's name. So we're going to go with the I don't know how to say this guy's name. He has good striking, can be wrestled. If he is taken down, he will threaten a ghillie. He's very tough, even if he is down 2 rounds. Going to the third, he has that finishing ability where he can just finish you at any moment. He can just drop you in a blink of a sec, in any second. Overall, I think this fight will be a pretty back and forth fight. Cody Durden is on a 3-fight losing streak. He was winning his last fight, but I think he just got a little too cocky. He was just standing there brawling with Nascimento and just he kept walking him down, which is good, but if you're trying to brawl with someone against the fence and they have nothing to lose when they're against the fence and they're down a round already, yeah, you're going to get knocked out at some point. Because if you're trying to brawl with someone who you're up on, and you're clearly going to win the fight by decision if you kind of coast and let them off the hook a little bit on the fence, yeah, you do want to try to put someone out there. But in my opinion, with Cody Durden, he doesn't have that much power in his hands. And overall, you need a win to get back on track. So that's how I would have played that fight. If Cody didn't try to brawl with him, he kept doing his double jab up top with the right, I do think he would have found a little more success in that second round and maybe even knocked him down or maybe even got to a good dominant wrestling position. But overall, I don't think Cody Durden should be in the top 10. In my opinion, he sucks. I've been hating on him his last 3 fights because I just don't see why he's still ranked. In my opinion, he's just not that good. He has good wrestling, he has solid striking, but he's just very beatable to me. The way I look at his fighting style, it's just very beatable, especially against a lot of these younger guys. Cody Durden is not the pick. It's this other guy. I'm going with the other guy by decision because I do think Durden is pretty tough, but overall the other guy will win this fight, probably by KO going into the second, maybe late third round, maybe a decision. But if you want to play it risky, do KO, if not decision. But I probably will go with the KO in round 2. Turcos Alberto. Turcos is a dog. He brings it every time he fights. Overall, he was pretty good at the start of his career. I believe he won tough, and then he had a couple solid fights, but now he kind of sucks. He's very beatable. He brings it every time he fights, though, so this will be a really good fight. Alberto looking to make a statement here. He won a Dana White's Contender Series, but he did get dominated a little bit in that first round. He didn't look too hot. He was getting pieced up. He got taken down easily, but he is very tough. He outlasted his opponent. He came back in the second round, went out there and finished him. Overall, there's not much to say about Alberto because he's very solid. There's nothing really too special to him, but I do think he is so well all around that he does have what it takes to beat Ricky Turcos. I'm going to go with Alberto by decision. Dante Johnson, Cody Brundage. I'm just going to start off with saying who my pick is. My pick is Dante Johnson. Overall, he has better striking, good power. He's younger, he's faster, and overall just better. Brundage, he has good power, he has good wrestling, low fight IQ, he waits around too much. Overall, in my opinion, he does not belong in the UFC anymore. Maybe put him against some prelim fighters, not a Dante Johnson, because Dante Johnson's coming off a crazy win on the Contender Series, and overall, I do think he is a very solid prospect, especially to this division. He is a little undersized, but he does make up for it in power. Brundage overall, he is coming off a bad loss against Rouston. He definitely had what it took to beat Rouston. He didn't wrestle enough. He gave up on the wrestling, I believe, after 1 or 2 takedowns, and he just kind of gave up, and then Rouston just started piecing him up and overall finished him. I cannot go with the Cody Brundage, especially at a plus 300, but still at the same time, still very solid odds if you're trying to either make a quick donation to the sports books, or who knows, Brundage could even win this fight, but I don't see any world that Brundage wins this fight. So the pick is Dante Johnson by KO in round 2. You know what? We're going to go round 1. Round 2, I don't think it's going to make it that long. I think Dante Johnson's going to come out fast. He's going to start pressuring Brundage early and just land that solid right to the chin. Cody Garbrandt, Long Zhao. If you are betting Cody Garbrandt in 2026, call the hotline. Do not put any of these two in a parlay, in my opinion, unless it's Zhao by a finish or something like that. But at the same time, straight bet it, because Garbrandt is a shell of himself. He has solid wrestling. He's still fast, but he's not as fast as he was. He is coming off a loss to Barcelos, where he was getting outstruck at one point. You're gonna tell me a Cody Garbrandt is gonna beat a Long Zhao, who's very tough, has speed, has the leg kicks to limit your movement, and he's just going to keep walking you down. He does wait around a little too much, but overall, he's going to keep coming at you for all 3 rounds. He is coming off that crazy fight against you, which was, they were brawling it out, and overall, probably should set the standard for a prelim fight, just brawling out. Who cares what happens? But Garbrandt, I just don't think he's going to win. If he's coming off a loss to Barcelos, MMA math doesn't work, but if you're coming off a loss to Barcelos, I just don't think you have what it takes to beat a guy like Long Zhao. He definitely has a good chance at winning, but to me, I can't pick him. I can't bet on him. I'm not even stepping close to Garbrandt in this fight. I'm going to go with Long Zhao by decision. All right, so Gregory versus Bruno. I've seen a lot of people on Tapology are going with Gregory, and I just don't know why. Because Gregory hasn't really improved since he got knocked out by Bruno. He still waits around too much. He has good KO power. He did try wrestling against Kopylov, and he did get knocked out. He barely got hit with a solid punch by Bruno, but overall, if Bruno hit him with the right, it would have been way worse. I don't think Bruno hit him with that hard of a punch, and he got folded and he was out conscious. Bruno, he still has the crazy KO power. He showed that he can go to the ground. He has good wrestling. He has good submissions. He showed his wrestling. He showed his BJJ. And he's only gotten better and only evolved his game since this fight here. He did lose once or twice in between here. But overall, I believe he's 4-1 in his last 5. There's no way I can't go against Bruno here. He won the first fight. He only looks even better. In Gregory and Kopylov, that fight was a little boring, but some exchanges where Kopylov landed on Rodriguez, I think if Bruno landed there, Gregory's getting knocked out. I don't have any faith in Gregory in this fight, but the safest bet for this fight would be KO, just due to one of them's getting the finish. But I am playing Bruno Ferreira by sub or KO at plus 220 instead of the KO at plus 270, because I think he can either get the sub or he can get the KO. It'll probably be the KO, but just in case, I'm doing a double chance just so I guaranteed make money if he does get a finish. Racially motivated Drew Dober versus Michael Johnson. Some people say Drew Dober's racist because he only really beats black guys and darker skinned individuals. But I'm not buying into it this fight. He loses to any good UFC fighter. His last good win was in 2022 against King Green. I just don't think he has what it takes. Michael Johnson, he has very solid striking, good wrestling. He's overall very good. I just think he's better in this case. He has beaten better guys recently. Dober's coming off a win off of Drew Propolak, I believe, or something, whatever his name is, a Canadian guy who had his shot in the UFC, but he's not UFC talent whatsoever. He faced St. Denis, lost, fought Drew Dober, lost. He got finished in both, I think, or yeah, he did get finished in both. So I'm going to go with Michael Johnson here. I think he will win this fight, and I do think it will be by KO in round 2. Rob Font, Raul Rosas Jr. We got Font. He has some good striking, very good crafty vet, but he can be taken down against a lot of these higher tier guys like Corey Sandhagens and those type of guys. He does get taken down pretty easily, and overall I think a guy like Rosas will take him down and control him there, because wrestling's really only his strong point. His striking's pretty bad. He's always looking for a takedown, and I think he's so delusional to the point where he believes he's going to be champ, the youngest champ, retire by 25 by wrestling, which I think it will work against a guy like Rob Font, but I think when he gets up to the higher competition, he's going to get smoked. Rosas is a good fighter, good prospect, but this guy is delusional. If he thinks he could be champ by 25 and retire at 25, he's smoking something, because no one really can do that. The only person I believe in the UFC that can do that as a young age would be Loner Kavanagh, because he is so well-rounded. Raul, he's not well-rounded. He only has wrestling. So, but cut to the chase, Raul by decision will be my pick here. I don't think Font wins. Caio, Rainer de Quitter. This is a pretty biased breakdown, but also at the same time, if you're picking Rainer, I don't know. I just think Kyle's way better than Rainer. Like, he's better striking, he has the power, he's good wrestling, good takedowns. He's coming off a loss to the number one contender, where he just didn't have the motivation to really fight, to be honest. He said he lost all motivation fighting going into that fight. And I feel like if it was for a belt, he would have had the motivation, but I feel like since, accomplishing more of his goals, his motivation fully isn't there, but I do think he does have the motivation to beat a guy like Rainer. He's quit 2 times already on the stool when the fight gets tough. This guy doesn't really want these hard fights. This guy isn't champ material. I did have him beating Allen because Brendan Allen sucks. Like, what can I say? He is getting better, but why has it taken Brendan Allen so long to get better? All this getting better just to lose to Sean Strickland again or Fluffy again. But back to Rainer. Rainer, he has mass striking. I just don't think it's that good. It's just a weird style. But I do think Kyle is going to land a nice right hand on Rainer's chin. Maybe if it's a little late in the round, he hits him with that, Rainer will probably quit on the stool. But I'm going to go Kyle by round 2 KO. Maybe in round 1, but I'll probably go round 2. I'm liking the round 2 on this card. Just due to, I think round 1 will be a lot of feeling each other out, and then round 2, they really start getting at it. The hardest pick on this card, we got Holloway and we got Oliveira. We got one of the best strikers in the UFC versus one of the best BJJ guys in the UFC. With this fight, I was leaning Charles. I do have confidence in Charles winning this fight. I don't know. Seeing both these guys want to do what each other is best at. Oliveira wants to point down, brawl it out with Holloway. Holloway wants to wrestle with Oliveira. It's a very hard pick with this, and it could be a little bit of them baiting it out. They have something planned for it. But overall, I just don't think this fight will be as close as people think. I think it's either Max is beating up Oliveira for 5 rounds or Oliveira beating up Max for 5 rounds. I do think there might be a finish here, but if the person who's getting a finish, I think it might be Max due to his striking, his volume, and I do think he might be able to crack Oliveira. But I'm going with my gut here. I'm going with the underdog in Charles Oliveira. How is Charles Oliveira an underdog? It is crazy. I do not think Max Holloway submits Oliveira. I don't think he knocks out Oliveira. I think he might knock him down. Oliveira's going to lock in, pull guard, and overall get back up, go out there, and knock Holloway out. I do think Holloway's chin is fading a little bit. He's been in so many wars. It's only a matter of time before he gets knocked out again. So I'm going to go with Oliveira. I'm going to go with my gut. I'm going to go with my more favorite fighter here. It is a little biased. So unbiasedness, I do think it is a very close fight. I know I said it's not going to be close, but if I'm being real, it's going to be close. Unbiasedness, it's going to be close. It should be a pretty good fight. Overall, I think it's going to go to round 3, guaranteed. I do think Oliveira will win if it goes to the ground, but I think this fight will be more striking, so unbiased pick will be Holloway, biased pick Oliveira. If you are betting on this fight, I don't know. I might say bet on Holloway KO if you're betting on Holloway's side. If you're betting on Oliveira's side, bet him by sub or decision. Who knows? Maybe even a KO. Just bet it. Even bet his money line because he's such an underdog. Betting wise, the more value is with Oliveira, especially being, I think it's a 2-time champ or a 1-time champ. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. I'm blanking right now. But overall, I'm gonna go with Oliveira, the more solid all-around fighter. Holloway does have better striking, but when I mean all-around, I mean the more complete fighter is Oliveira. So Oliveira will be the pick. It will be by sub round 3. To get my picks last week, we went 11 for 13. I didn't change my Ernesta pick. I did switch it up last minute. I did say Ernesta in the video, but I was wrong, and I switched it after the video that I believe it's Tarin, who I thought was going to win, especially at an underdog, and Ernesta, I didn't think she was going to be able to win, even though I said in the video that she was going to have a pretty straightforward win, but I changed it up last minute. I changed it up last minute. I should have listened to my gut and went against Ernesta. Zelluber, I don't know why I picked Zelluber. I didn't really I thought he was going to come out and land some head kicks. He didn't throw a head kick, which amazes me, but what can you do? 11 for 13, still very solid. Love to see Kavanaugh win. Everybody was saying up to the fight, oh, Moreno's going to win. Nah, Kavanaugh was going to win that. I had full confidence in Kavanaugh. I did think Moreno would have won a decision, though. I did live bet Moreno at plus 650 before the round ended because it was in Mexico. They would favor their fighter more, but Kavanaugh did go out there and beat the piss out of Moreno, which you love to see. You love to see some new blood in the flyweight division. Here are my parlays. I got Tobias, I got Johnson by KO or sub, and then Kyle moneyline. I got Jesus Aguilar at plus 190, a straight bet. If you want a risky bet, go Kyle by KO. Another lock, I think, is fight to start round 2 for the Cody Garbrandt fight and the Jesus fight. And then if you add Alberto Montez, that will be plus 115. I believe I hit every bet last week. Maybe I missed one, but all the bets I showed in the video, I believe they hit except the one with Zelluber in it, which he was one of my last legs. But I don't think I did have my 12 leg in there. I do think I had like an 8 leg that did cash, but the 12, if I did show the 12 leg, it didn't cash. But overall, that's the picks. I will be having another video out for next fight night card next week. That should be out around Wednesday.